What's going on? Carlos Melendez here, your favorite South Florida realtor. Thank you so much for joining me today on my channel where we love to discuss technology, provide you all with some amazing tips, hacks, reviews, unboxings. We discuss awesome real estate tips as well as travel and just so much more. So if it's your first time joining us, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell to be notified of new upcoming videos. And if you like the video that I'm posting here today, make sure you hit that like button. And if you don't, hit the dislike twice. Folks, we're going to be talking about the awesome, new, and highly anticipated DJI Osmo Pocket. Now, many of you know this product was released just a couple of weeks ago by our friends over at DJI. It is the smallest 3-axis gimbal on the market today, and I must say that DJI has knocked it out of the park with this little bad boy. It is introduced at the very low price of $349, and I say very low in retrospect when you compare it to things like the GoPro Hero 7 or other action cams and stabilized cams that are available today in today's market that are truthfully a little more expensive in comparison for what this has to offer. Today we're going to be discussing 3 awesome hacks that I have learned so far over the past couple of weeks using the Osmo Pocket, and I'm going to share those hacks today with you. Hack number 1 that I want to talk about is being able to use an Android phone with the Osmo Pocket. As many of you know, when DJI released this a couple of weeks back, one thing we noticed right away was that the adapters that were included in the box supported lightning cables for, of course, your Apple products, and you had a USB-C adapter as well, which of course is focused towards the new technology that's being released now. As many of you know, a lot of technology is now transitioning from the micro USB over to the USB-C. It's faster, it's more reliable, a lot of positives to that. However, a lot of Android phones that exist in today's market still rely on that micro USB technology, so it's kind of weird, for lack of a better word, and surprising that DJI did not include a micro USB with the product, as a lot of people have Android phones out there. I personally am an Apple guy, but that's here nor there. What I want to do is give you guys a quick solution for those Android users out there on how to be able to use the Osmo Pocket with your current Android phone without having to go and upgrade equipment and all of that stuff. So what you want to do is head on over to Amazon, head on over to Best Buy or wherever you buy your electronics at, and look for a USB-C adapter. Now, there's a lot of companies out there that are selling USB-C adapters that will convert from a lightning cable over to USB-C. You have it as well with micro, where it'll convert from USB-C to micro USB. So what I would suggest is you can go one of 2 routes. You can just buy a converter that'll convert from lightning cable over to the micro USB, and that will allow you to then plug in to the side port here directly onto your phone like you would do with any other phone. Or you can do another option, which is you can buy yourself a USB-C to micro USB cable, and then you can plug into the bottom USB-C on the base of the Osmo Pocket, and then use the other side of that cord with the micro USB and plug into your phone. Now, personally, I like that second option better, and the reason for that is because I've actually incorporated that second option into my usage as well, and that's going to lead me into hack number 2. If you're just trying to get some hard-to-reach footage, let's say you're at a concert, you might be at a property or somewhere where you need to kind of extend the gimbal out of reach, out of sight to be able to capture that footage, but you still want to be able to see on your viewfinder if you're in focus, if you're in frame, and if you're grabbing the footage you're trying to grab, correct? So what I did and what I discovered was that you can go over to Apple and buy yourself a USB-C to lightning cable. And this cable is awesome. I use it all the time to charge my iPad Pro, as I use a rapid charger that I got from Apple, which is amazing. If you don't have one, go check it out. But I was able to repurpose that very same cable that came with it. I believe this cable cost me about 19 bucks, and I'm able to plug it into the bottom of my Osmo Pocket. it allows me to have a lightning cable at the other end, which I'm able to plug into the bottom of my iPhone. Now, the awesome part about this and what this does for you is that now I am able to take my Osmo Pocket and raise it, elevate it above people's heads. If I'm at a concert, if I want to maybe, hang off the side of a boat to get a certain shot, or if I, let's say, I'm in a house and I'm doing a walkthrough and I want to kind of creep around the corner without being seen or without being in shot or without having the entire gimbal or the phone maybe in the reflection of a mirror or something along those lines, this will now allow me to elevate the Osmo Pocket to a certain extent where I can get the shot that I'm trying to get, all while viewing on my phone, maybe at a much lower level, where I can see if I'm in focus, where I can make sure that I'm maybe changing the movement and panning the gimbal with the actual touchscreen of my phone. I'm able to do and utilize all those pro features while still being able to get the amazing shot. So that's tip number 2. Invest in a cable like this, whether you get it directly from Apple or whether you get it on Amazon. I think it's an awesome way to get some really creative footage, all while being able to have the Osmo in one hand and your phone in another. Now, tip number 3. Battery life on the Osmo Pocket is actually really good, all things considered. It is an internal battery, so you can't swap it out. It takes about 90 minutes to charge up to a full charge, and then it gives you about 2 hours of recording at 4K 60 frames per second, which isn't bad considering the really tiny size of the Osmo Pocket. And for those of you who might own an Osmo Mobile 1 or 2, here's an Osmo Mobile battery. I've done this before as a comparison. It gives you a full idea of how small the Osmo Pocket truly is. As you can see, it's no bigger. The body itself is no bigger than the battery of an Osmo Mobile 1 or 2. So that's huge, the fact that this thing is so tiny. However, with that being said, you only really have about 2 hours of recording time with the Osmo Pocket. So if you're trying to do a time lapse, maybe going from daytime to nighttime, you might need a little bit more recording time than the 2 hours, especially if you've been, going around town getting other footage while you're on vacation, or maybe you've already done another property that you needed to get some footage for a client on. So this will allow you to go ahead, this hack, and extend the battery life on the Osmo Pocket. And it's very simple. What I've done is I went ahead and got one of my backup batteries. I've been using this one, which was given to me by my friends over at DocuSign. I gotta say, they knocked it out of the park with this backup battery. It was a gift that I got at the Realtors Convention about 2 years ago, and it has been going strong. I love this battery. It's about 8,800 milliamps, and it charges up my iPhone about twice. It charges up this little guy about 2 to 3 times, which is phenomenal. So leading into my third hack, all you've got to do is grab yourself a backup battery, maybe like this guy. The reason I like using this one is because it does have a much larger base to it, which gives it a good foundation for those time lapses. Because what I like to do is I go ahead and I take my Osmo Pocket, I put it to the front of the backup battery like so. I'll grab myself a couple of rubber bands, put it across the body of the backup battery as well as the Osmo. USB-C goes to the bottom, USB to the charger up top, and now I'm able to have the Osmo Pocket elevated charging while it's sitting on the base of this backup battery, allowing me to get the time lapse. It's a much heavier backup battery, which gives it a much more solid base if you have it, let's say, on a windowsill somewhere, or maybe on a railing or something like that, where you're scared that a gust of wind or maybe some movement might tip it over. This allows you to have a little bit more of a larger base to be able to get that time lapse, that moving time lapse, and not be so concerned with it tipping over. So that's allowed me to extend the battery life tremendously, and I would recommend it. Try it out, see if it works for you. I personally love it. It's helped me various times already out on the field, and it's just a great way to extend your recording time on such a small device. Have it, folks. Those are the 3 hacks that I have for you today regarding the Osmo Pocket. And as always, if you're not subscribed already to my channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Make sure you tap on that bell as well so that you're notified of new videos. And as always, thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me. And keep it techy, guys. Till next time.